Every year I like to go back through all the albums and EPs that I listen to throughout the year and review them. It's just a silly, for fun thing I used to do on Twitter, but as of last year I decided to make them here on YouTube because I felt like the format would have worked very well for a YouTube video, and I can even spice it up with doing little things like ranking all the albums instead of just reviewing them. And this year is not going to be much different because I'm here to do it again. I'm going to go through all the albums that I listened to in 2025 and review and rank them. Before we begin though, I just want to clarify things so that you know exactly what to expect. This ranking and my opinions are completely subjective and based entirely on my enjoyment of the project as a whole, which is also why I'm ranking both albums and EPs on the same list. This is more of a journal of what I listened to throughout the year and what I think of it rather than a professional ranking/review. That said, I hope you get something out of what I have to say, and I also hope you discover something that you'll really enjoy. But before we get into it, I have a really big announcement. I have made a website. What for, you might ask? Really, everything that I do. In this website, you will have all of my social links, you will have all of my music available for purchase, which will directly support me, instead of, listening through a service from a company that owns half the world and doesn't really care about artists at all. In there, you will also find sample packs and preset packs that I will sell in the future, as I make those, obviously. And you also have Patreon-style memberships, with which you can get a bunch of benefits, such as stamps for my music, project files, music feedback, etc., etc. And lastly, you can also request commissions from me directly from my website. Instead of having to figure out where you can even contact me, there's your hub right there. You just have to quickly fill up a forum, read my terms of service, and then you'll be good to go. So if you really want to support me and what I do, the website is the best way for you to do that. So please make sure to check it out. And let's move on to the ranking now.
Make the sound blue, right? It's all around you.
These are indeed Wave Dash remixes for Arcane songs. Yep, aside from the fact that I couldn't go to the event where these songs were premiered and I'm a bit upset about it, not gonna lie. I'm sorry to say this, but this is just a nothing burger of an EP. It almost feels like Wave Dash just took some of their demos and slapped the vocals from the Arcane songs in it. It's decent for the club, but nothing really special, which it hurts my soul to say, because Wave Dash are genuinely one of my favorite music groups. I'm sure someone else will enjoy it a lot more than I did, but yeah, as of now, it's at the bottom of my list. Track 1 is really the only song I come back to from this EP. The rest of the tracklist is not really that good. The instrumentals are decent, I mean, it's Flume, what do you expect? But I just heard so much better from Flume that I'd just rather go back to it instead. That's really it, honestly. I would simply rather go listen to something else. I feel a bit conflicted about the ranking of this album, honestly. I don't want to put it so low, but it also doesn't really deserve to be that high compared to the rest of the stuff I listened to throughout the year. First things first, props to Glaive for trying to do something different. I still think his album, I Care So Much That I Don't Care At All, is his best project yet. Everything after that feels kinda samey, at least until this album. There are some songs that still feel like they're trying to replicate what I Care So Much That I Don't Care At All did, but the album as a whole is a breath of fresh air, honestly, and something I'd for sure come back to. I will say, I'm not sure if I agree too much with the writing decisions in this album. I don't know, maybe I'm too dumb to appreciate the genius on Veni Vidi Vici, City Lights of Vici, or I'm Chicharito in a way, I score for fun. Not the worst lyrics I've heard, they're fun, but I don't know, they take me out a little bit sometimes. And as a side note for any hardcore Glaive fans that may or may not be watching this video, I've listened to all but 2 of Glaive's albums. All Dogs Go to Heaven and Then I'll Be Happy are the ones that I haven't heard. So if my opinion feels to you like it's missing a crucial piece of the pie, maybe that's why. Overall, this is a really enjoyable album, but as of right now, it really has to do a lot more for me to rank it higher in this list. This is a tough one to analyze and rank because when I listen to this, I think it's incredible. But when I stop listening to it, I kind of forget that it exists. This LP is essentially more complete versions of some songs that we heard in FUS, with a couple extra tracks to spice it up a bit. And let's be real here, it's one of the best produced and mixed EDM projects I've ever heard, which at this point is to be expected from Skrillex. He always brings this sort of polished and clean as fuck sound since he dropped Quest for Fire, which is always a delight to hear, honestly. Every time I hear it, I'm like, is this what ASMR feels like to other people? Okay. The reason why it's almost at the bottom of my list, despite my accolades, is because it's just a less exciting version of FUS, which I'll definitely talk about in this video later. That's not to say it's bad, I just didn't enjoy it as much as some of the other albums and EPs in this list, certainly not as much as FUS. This is the kind of album that I would put in the background when I'm doing a long repetitive task to help me focus. Not something I'd revisit a whole lot, but I do have to appreciate Mr. Brill's production, sound design, and mixing here. It is insanely clean and experimental, just like any other Mr. Brill project, honestly. And while it's nothing we haven't heard before from him, it's still a really nice experience going through the album, especially if you're looking for something chilled and atmospheric that also rewards the listener with some beautiful sound design where they pay attention.
It's a hard job that you do true all the day.
Another rough one to rank. This album feels like a bit of a curveball in Anna Managuchi's discography, as it's leaning more towards the rock and punk side of their music, as well as incorporating vocals from the band's members, which, as far as I know, is a first for the band. At first, I wasn't fully on board with this project, but it has grown on me a little bit the more I've listened to it. It just wasn't really what I expected from Anna Managuchi, especially if I compare it to the previous records. This one feels a lot more aggressive and in your face than the others, but somehow still feels like Anna Managuchi. I don't know, I'm still trying to process this album, but I think I like it.
Johnny on my right, Alan on my left, got bullets in the back, gauge making sunset, and I like it right. You don't sleep, but you try. What's peace without the pie? All night, 'cause nothing comes out of nowhere. Yeah, nothing comes out of nowhere. I'm about to crash with my people in the bed. Promise I like it like that.
The best way I can describe this album is if you violently vomited a bunch of sounds into a DAW, cranked up the distortion and the master, and then released that. In like a good way. It's a style very reminiscent of the early stages of indie hyperpop, where everyone was just doing this kind of over-the-top sound, which I personally don't vibe with a lot of the times. It can get pretty overwhelming. And yet, I can't help but really enjoy this album. It's definitely something I have to be really in the mood for me to go back to it, but when I'm in the mood, it hits. Despite all the chaos, it all feels intentional and also new, while also honoring the kind of style that Jane used to do way back in the day.
shit like this. Magic trick when I flick that wrist. Looking at the hater disappear. Guess who's back? Get the fuck out of here.
Fires, let's spit.
Man, what an album this is. I definitely cannot do it justice in the 1 or 2 minutes that I'm gonna be talking about this album here, but the album is there. You can go listen to it. It feels like you're listening to a DJ set that just brings together both the old and the new Skrillex sounds, and it's just a delight to listen to. My only issue with this album is that you really do have to listen to it from start to finish to get the full experience, especially when most of the songs are only 1 minute long, sometimes even less than that, which is why I didn't really listen to this album a whole ton. But regardless of that, I think everyone, especially every EDM fan, needs to listen to this at least once in their lives. Definitely an experience you cannot miss.
Fires, let's spit.
I would have loved to rank this album higher. I really would have. But in all honesty, I didn't come back to it a whole ton. I kind of regret it a little bit because somehow Rez just keeps reinventing and improving on her sound, and it's just been amazing to follow her journey. As for the album itself, I don't think you can do any better than this when it comes to mid-tempo. Except yes you can, and that's by implementing other genres into the project. This is definitely the most diverse of Rez's albums, going from her classic mid-tempo style to dark electro house to dubstep to something completely experimental that can't fit within a singular genre. It's just truly amazing, and I'm so excited to hear what else Rez brings to the table. I don't think there's a better time to become a fan. Short and sweet, 4 tracks, 4 genres, all bangers. I guess the best way I can describe this EP is
How it feels to chew 5 gum.
not only does it feel really fresh and new, it would also go so hard on a rave. I have nothing but good things to say about this EP, and honestly, I just wish it was longer.
Stimulate your senses.
Feel it on my own, feel it on my own, yeah. Boy, didn't even hear me out, 'cause I'm making noise. Gonna start
You really can't go wrong with these two work together. It's always gonna be a banger and a half with amazing sound design, clean as fuck mixing, and many what the fuck am I listening to moments. But by far, the song that takes this EP to the next level, in my opinion, and why I rank it here, is By Your Side. The previous 3 songs have been nothing but rave bangers, which I can always appreciate coming from D. Jones and Eprom, but By Your Side takes everything that made the previous tracks and turns it into a sweet, bright, and experimental future garage beat with a really catchy bass line, which despite not changing much throughout the song, there are so many micro edits and variation that it just never gets old. This is the only song, probably ever, that I can play on repeat 100 times and I would never ever get bored. The project as a whole is still amazing though, and I 100% recommend you go check it out entirely, especially if you haven't listened to any of these artists before.
Dropping this high, but I'm running
this in the best of ways possible, this album feels like diet underscores. You can really feel a lot of direct inspiration from Wall Socket while still having that Saoirse Dream flair that we all know and love. I don't know, this album has some sort of magic that really attracts me, and I struggle to find the words to describe how I feel about it, in a good way, of course. All I can say is that if you're looking for something fun, catchy, something that takes you back to 2007, or all of the above, this is the perfect album for you.
It doesn't get much easier than this, than this.
Speaking of magic that just completely sucks me in, yeah, this is the perfect album for that. It has a very minimalist, muffled, and atmospheric sound that almost hypnotizes you, especially with all the trance elements mixed in throughout the tracklist. It's like the synthesizers are singing you a lullaby. It's beautiful. Definitely something you have to hear and experience at least once in your life. I wish I could say more, but the album really just speaks for itself. It's good. Go listen to it.
Flowers grow quietly. Farces and everything.
There is so much I could say about this album. From the mixing of traditional Puerto Rican genres with modern reggaeton, all the homages to the people who made Bad Bunny and the music he makes what it is today, the love to the culture from his native land, and the commentary and criticisms towards how the island and the culture he grew up in are being treated. This album is a love letter to his homeland, his culture, the things and people that influenced him. It's also a call to action to appreciate the things around you, from the people in your life to the culture of your land, because one day you'll wish that you would have taken more pictures. It's a genuine masterpiece, and that's coming from someone who doesn't like Bad Bunny's music or even reggaeton as a whole. In all honesty, when I first listened to this album, I really thought it would be a contender for the #1 spot in this ranking. But that ended up not being the case, evidently, and as great as this album is, you're about to learn why it's not higher.
Está perdido. Dime si tu lía, tu amiguito, el corillo está bien rica, pero ese culo tuyo, wow, sobresalía. Salimos de la disco y baby, te voy a dar una vuelta por la playita. Te voy a llenar de besitos en la carita. Un día conmigo es lo que tú no.
Then came the noise.
This album was made for me specifically. Fuck you all. It's a love letter to the late 2000s/early 2010s, the internet, and electronic music. It tackles themes of growing up with the internet, why making music in a computer is amazing, all in a classic electro/complextro style that I'm very nostalgic for. This album just gets me, you know? And don't even get me started on the production. Holy fuck, it's so good. The sound design is incredible, the mixing is so clean, the arrangements and structures of the songs never get boring. It feels very classic and nostalgic, but also modern at the same time. I don't think this album's ever gonna age. If you're fond of old school electro or just electronic music as a whole, you have to give this album a listen.
I wanna in my dream, I saw him. On the screen, it's really you. Did you hear me?
Fucking hell, another really packed one. Regrettably, I only listened to this album relatively recently, around early December. I had heard good things about it, but I was never really that interested in it. Then one day I was kind of forced to listen to it, and I could not understand at all what the hell I was listening to. This is a sound that I've never heard before in my life, and I can't really explain it with words. It's such a weird mix of genres, but it all somehow works. After a couple listens, I started actually looking at the meaning behind the lyrics, and I was genuinely in shock. I never realized there was a whole story or even an entire movie that came with this album. And it's a story that really hits close to home for me personally, especially at the time that I was listening to it. I don't want to make this video too long, so I recommend you watch this video by Stage Dive if you want to know more about what this album is really about. All you need to know for now is that it is an experience unlike any other. There are only a couple albums that I consider like the most special of all time. Discovery and Random Access Memories by Daft Punk are some of those, as well as Nurture by Porter Robinson. That's the caliber of excellence we're talking about here. And honestly, I think it's safe for me to say that Vanisher Horizon Scraper deserves to join that list. It is that good. So if I have such high accolades for this album, why is it in number one? Fuck if I know, honestly. This top 5 was really hard to rank, and in all honesty, any of these could be number 1 depending on the day. But maybe if you hear me out about the last 2 albums on this list, you'll understand why I decided to rank them this way.
Becomes all again, I cannot become.
That I should say, 'cause we're one and the same. Carnal is a normal mode, fucking all the men in droves. Son of God is
The first time I heard of Bats was from a visual video I found on YouTube by Hunt Toxic, and I also heard from him from the Bee and Puppycat soundtrack back when I first watched it like 2 years ago. I was so amazed by both of these projects that I decided to check out as much of his discography as I could. I didn't go through all of his albums because frankly it was a bit too much for me at the time, but I listened enough to his discography that I think I understand his style quite well, and honestly I just fell in love with it. It's such a weird, organic, and experimental sound that I haven't heard anywhere else. And the reason why this album ranks so high is because it takes everything that I loved from Will's style and it bumps it up to 11. It's not as electronic as his other works, but it still feels just as weird and out there. Not to mention that his vocals sound probably the best that I've ever heard them. I genuinely wouldn't blame anyone for having this as their album of the year. It really deserves it. However, there's still one more album that really spoke to me more than the others. That's usually how number 1 spots work. Fucking hell, who scripted this thing?
the woods of the beach of the clouds. I see through. We all know each other. I am what he'll be drinking.
Poetic, isn't it? To end this list with the same artist that I ended the last year's list with. What a mouthful. I've been a big fan of A Cloudy Sky for a few years now, evidently from how much I praised his previous album. I didn't think it could get any better than that, but alas, I was pleasantly surprised. This is, without a shadow of a doubt, his best album yet. If you thought There Must Be Something Here was good, this just takes it up to the next level. Every song sounds like it was made purely out of heart and soul, and you can feel it. Anything I say about this album, and really any album on this list, cannot do it justice, so please do yourself a favor and go listen to this. I promise you, you will not regret a single second that you spent with this album. So that's the ranking. Thank you so much if you made it to the end. And I really hope you give at least some of these albums and EPs a chance. Now, I know I haven't been really that active around here for a couple of months. It's been a rough time for me mentally and physically, so content will definitely have to slow down a lot in the future. I still want to make videos and I'm still working on music, so hopefully I'll see you there whenever I drop those. It's just, I need to take some more time for myself. Being a content creator while also juggling a music career is not the easiest thing. But enough about me. Don't forget to check out my website if you want to support me. And also hit the like button, leave a comment so the algorithm gods have mercy on me, and subscribe if you don't want to miss out on future content. That's about everything I got for you. Goodbye!